Hey, what's going on guys? It's Moto. In today's video, we'll be installing the Seat Concepts Low Seat for the Honda XR650L. So the Honda XR650L has a reputation for being a very tall motorcycle, and that reputation is well deserved. This motorcycle has a seat height of 37 inches. And just for reference, that puts this motorcycle in a very similar seat height category to something like a full-size dirt bike. However, when comparing it to a full-size dirt bike, for example the XR650R, those motorcycles are much narrower, so it's easier to get your legs around the bike. With the 650L being an older style and also a street use motorcycle, the seat is a little bit wider, which allows for a more comfortable ride. However, the downside is it's going to be much more difficult to get your feet planted on the ground. So long overdue, but today I'm finally installing the Seat Concepts Low Seat, and I'm interested to see just how much this seat will make a difference. On their website, they claim it will lower the seat height by 1 inch, so we'll have to test that out. Okay guys, I am on the motorcycle. Once again, I am about 5'10" with these boots on. I weigh about 170. And of course the motorcycle will sag under my weight a little bit. It'll drop down. So I can just about get my toes planted, but that's about it. I'm still kind of on my tippy toes here. And once again, I'm kind of pushed up against the seat. The farther back you go, of course, it will be a little bit taller, just because the seat is sloped. So I'm hoping with the new Seat Concept seat, it'll lower it just a little bit, and I'll be able to flat foot it a little bit better. Looking under the motorcycle, you'll see the two 12mm seat bolts that need to be removed in order to remove the seat. We'll do that now. And I almost forgot, we also need to remove this strap here, so we'll need to remove the side panel. And now remove this bolt here with a 3/16 size Allen key. And repeat that process for the other side. You just simply need to remove this rear panel. Now with the strap removed, we can put the side panels back and remove the stock seat. With both side panels back on, you can simply remove the seat by pulling out towards the rear, and it pops right off. Okay, so looking at the two seats side by side, they do look pretty similar. The Seat Concept seat is a little bit lower. Once again, they claim it's 1 inch. That does seem to be pretty accurate. It certainly is wider in this section here than the stock one. Hopefully you guys can kind of see that. But it is definitely narrower over here. So hopefully that will allow you to get your feet down a little bit better. Also looking at the foam density, this seat is a little bit firmer than the stock one. They do seem to be identical. All of the hardware seems to line up correctly. The only thing I've noticed is this does have a little bit of a rubber, maybe like mud guard there, whereas this one doesn't. However, it does have the holes pre-drilled, so we should be able to transfer this over to the new seat. So to install the new seat, it's very straightforward. You just want to make sure you line up that tab. And the best way to do that, and I apologize, I'm doing this one hand, but you basically want to start on the rear section of the motorcycle, kind of like that, and then you're going to slide it forwards, and that should engage that little tab. So we'll kind of push this forward a little bit. Got to get it over the tool bag back there. Make sure it's lining up, which mine is not. There we go, that looks good. Push it down on all sides there and kind of give it a little nudge forward. And to check to see if it's engaged, you can simply pull up on the front of the seat, and mine is being held into place. Now it's time to reinstall these seat bolts. If your holes don't line up, you can apply a little bit of downward pressure onto the seat, and that should help you out. Now tighten back down with your 12mm socket. All right guys, so with the seat installed, it definitely does feel a little bit better. It's certainly not gonna be a very large change. I'm still tiptoeing the bike quite a bit, but overall it does feel a little bit more comfortable. And then if I scoot back, I definitely notice the wider seat, which I think for longer rides will certainly be a benefit.
Okay guys, so I took the XR out of the garage. I really wanted to test out the seat and see how it does. So far, I've noticed it definitely does make a little bit of a difference, but it's not anything crazy. Yeah, I mean, getting on the seat, it definitely is a little bit easier to flat foot it, or not quite flat foot it, but get my feet down. I definitely feel like the foam is substantially thinner than the stock seat, so it definitely leads to a little bit of a less cushioned ride. But I think that that is offset by the fact that this seat is just super wide in the back. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's definitely more comfortable than the stock one. So guys, my honest impressions, the seat definitely does help. Now, it's not going to make that much of a difference, and it's not claiming to. I mean, 1 inch is 1 inch. It's not that much. I think if you're really trying to squeeze every last ounce of lowering out of this bike, for lack of better terms, you're definitely going to want to go with something like a lowering link. Now, another thing you might consider doing if you don't want to drop $300+ on this seat, especially if you're interested in keeping the Honda name on the seat, you could consider bringing it to somebody that does upholstery, and hopefully they can help shave it down, and that might be another option. But overall, guys, I do think it did help. It's not as much as I would have liked, especially for the price, but it's definitely making a difference. I can put my foot down a little bit more than I was able to before.
And keep a lookout for part 2. I will be installing a lowering link on this motorcycle. I definitely think that that will make the biggest improvement as far as being able to flat foot this bike. So if you guys are interested, please stay tuned. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, throw them in the comment section down below. And thank you guys very much for watching. Always remember to ride safe.